Food production record training. Food production records are critical documents used in school nutrition. In this training, we will define the types of production records and how we should use them daily in our operation. The objectives of this training is for you to understand the importance of completing food production records, to learn to use food production records to document meal service, and to identify the required items for the completion of the food production record. Food production records serve two regulatory purposes. For administrative reviews, production records are used to audit daily food use and to ensure that nutrition standards are satisfied for all reimbursable meals. So what is a production record? A production record is a great tool for food ordering and planning. It is a source of pertinent information needed to complete nutrition analysis. Production records provide details of all the foods prepared and offered for service. Lastly, it provides a history for forecasting future production needs. According to Georgia's Secretary of State Local Retention Schedule, production records must be kept on file for 5 years plus the current year. A failure to retain and/or accurately complete production records can result in withholding federal funds. Samples of the types of food production records are included in the handouts for this training. Take a minute to review the forms before we proceed. You are not required to use these forms, but if you create your own forms or use computerized forms, they must include all of the required information as indicated in the instructions for the Georgia DOE forms included in your packet. These forms include the Lunch and Breakfast Production Record, DE Form 121, the Snack Record, DE Form 113, and the Non-Reimbursable Sales Record, DE Form 120. In order to complete your breakfast and lunch production records, there are several items that must be entered by the manager and/or a designated nutrition employee. Take a moment to identify these items on your production records. They include the day, the date, the school, the meal, the age and grade group, the menu or menus offered, the menu items offered, and remember that USDA must be indicated if not using single inventory, portion size, projected number of servings, the amount of food prepared, the leftovers or unused portions, the recipe number or ingredients, and the cost of purchased and USDA foods, and that's required for breakfast only. Now go ahead and pull out the food production record packet and highlight each required item as it is discussed. We will start with DE Form 121, breakfast and lunch. Now look at your food production record. This slide represents the Georgia Department of Education prototype food production record. You are not required to use these forms, but if your SFA creates your own forms or you use computerized forms, those forms must include all of the required information as indicated in the instructions for the Georgia Department of Education forms. All Georgia Department of Education forms may be obtained from the Georgia Department of Education School Nutrition Office or by contacting your area consultant. All forms must be completely marked according to the instructions. The first step is to mark the number of pages. The next step is to write in the school name. Then sign the form, write your position title, and the date. Next, indicate the day of the week and the grade group. Finally, indicate the meal and whether or not your school uses single inventory. Now you can begin listing the menu items. In this example, the menu planner decided that the strawberries should be served in cup portions. The manager decided that she would project 125 student servings. She listed this amount in column 1. She then projected 15 adult and a la carte servings. 125 student servings and 15 adult and a la carte servings totals 140 projected servings of strawberries, listed in column 2. School food service staff prepared 54 pounds of strawberries. Therefore, 54 pounds is listed in column 5. At the end of service, the server noted she had 5 1-cup servings left, and that is equivalent to 3 pounds. That amount was listed in column 6. The costing should be the amount of food prepared today, that's column 5, times the unit cost, column 7. Indicate if the item is USDA or purchased. In this example, the total cost for this purchased item is 79 cents per pound times 54 pounds, which equals $42.66. List that amount and the total for that line, $42.66. Using this example, you may then indicate the rest of the menu items and cost those out. The food buying guide determines the amount of food to buy for a specific number of people and at a specific portion size. The food buying guide and the food buying guide calculator are useful tools to plan meals. The information in the front of the food buying guide contains a really good reference material. The food buying guide calculator can help determine how much food to buy. You can utilize the food buying guide calculator online. If you forget the web address here, just Google USDA Food Buying Guide Calculator. The Food Buying Guide Calculator is a new tool that allows you to enter the serving size and the number of servings you need for a specific product, and it will calculate the quantity you would need to purchase. It also allows you to export shopping lists. Remember to record the correct scoop measure when instructing staff to serving portions as indicated in the production record. The scoop number indicates the number of level scoopfuls in 1 quart. For example, look at the chart and you'll notice that a number 8 scoop equals a 1/2 cup serving, and a number 16 scoop equals a 1/4 cup serving. There are 4 cups in a quart, so a number 8 scoop, which is half cups, gives you 8 half cups in a quart. And a number 16 scoop, which gives you a 1/4 cup, equals 16 1/4 cups in a quart. Laminated charts like this one that you may use in your kitchen are available from the Georgia Department of Education. Remember that the same volume of different foods will not all weigh the same. You must use a scale to measure weight. One of the problems that we've seen in the past when conducting reviews is that weights and measures are often confused. They are not always interchangeable. If an ingredient or serving size is given as a weight, for example 4 ounces, then the item should be weighed on a scale. This would apply to meat alternates, or grains. If an ingredient or serving size is given as a volume, for example 1/2 cup, then it should be measured in a liquid or solid measuring cup as appropriate, such as fruits or vegetables. Use the same type of measurement for the recipe, the serving line, and the nutrient analysis. For example, flour that has a weight of 4 ounces will not equal 1/2 cup when measured. Another example is spinach. Do you think that 4 ounces of spinach will fit into a 1/2 cup serving? No. What about raisins? Will 1/2 cup weigh only 4 ounces? No. So remember to apply basic rules for measuring different types of ingredients. Scales are used to measure ingredients by weight. Traditional scales come in sizes to weigh 2 to 50 pounds. Electronic scales weigh in tenths, so 0.5 is 1/2 pound. 1/2 of 16 is 8 ounces. Be sure to weigh peanut butter and solid fat such as butter and shortening. Weighing is faster, easier, and more accurate than measuring ingredients by volume. Ounces and pounds are the only 2 measures of weight used in food preparation. Some recipes do not show both volume and weight. Use the food weights and approximate equivalents and measure chart to make conversions. Accuracy is very important when weighing ingredients. Now let's move on to another type of food production record, the DE-113, used to record meals planned and served for after-school snacks. Take a minute to locate the various sections of the DE 113 indicated on this slide. Remember, it is not required to use the state prototype DE 113, but any form that is used by your school must also include these components. Sections of the form include the date, menu to include portion size, item and amount used, cost per unit, and number of reimbursable and non-reimbursable snacks served. The menu planner must make sure that all portion sizes meet the minimum serving size as required by the meal pattern. In past reviews conducted by the State Department, findings were that grain weight was insufficient according to the meal pattern requirements, and the minimum quantity of juice was not served. 6 ounces or 3/4 cup of juice is the minimum portion size required, not 4 ounces. The last production record form that we will discuss is the DE 120, Non-Reimbursable Foods. See instructions for completing the form and discuss each item. It can be found in the Food Production Record handout packet. So what is the DE 120? It is a form used to record foods and beverages that are not recorded on the breakfast or lunch food production records. This form documents the cost of these extra food items and documents non-reimbursable food items that are not included in the nutrient analysis. So why is this form important? It's important because at the end of the month, the cost of non-reimbursable food must be recorded on the school's financial reports. This is required by federal regulations. Each school must have a financial report, and this financial report must include the cost of non-reimbursable sales before the report is submitted to the State Department. This report is called the DE 106 Financial Report. Take a minute to locate and review the non-reimbursable food production record included in your handouts. The slide represents the Georgia Department of Education prototype Non-Reimbursable Foods Production Record, DE Form 120. You may choose to use this form, or if your school uses another form, that form must have the same components. You are not required to use these forms, but if your SFA creates your own forms or you use computerized forms, those forms must include all of the required information as indicated in the instructions for the Georgia Department of Education forms. All Georgia Department of Education forms may be obtained from the Georgia Department of Education School Nutrition Office or by contacting your area consultant. The non-reimbursable foods production record must record items sold, quantity used, food cost per unit, and total food cost. When recording items sold, the item may be listed as one food item, or each component may be listed and priced separately. For example, a hamburger and bun may be listed as a unit that includes the meat and bread, or the hamburger patty and bread may be listed separately. For food cost per unit, an item may be priced as a unit or by individual component. The example with the hamburger and the bun is just like that. You can record it as a hamburger and bun altogether, or you can price them separately as the hamburger patty and the bun. Note, this should be calculated using the actual cost of the item, not the sale price. So remember, on the DE 120, food items may be counted and priced either individually or by ingredient. So remember, in our hamburger example, you may count and price the hamburger as a unit altogether, or you can price and count them separately as the bun, patty, lettuce, tomato, and condiments. There are several resources that may assist you in completing production records. These include USDA Team Nutrition, the National Food Service Management Institute, the USDA Food and Nutrition Services, and the Food Buying Guide online calculator. Thank you for participating in the Food Production Record Training. For questions, please contact the Georgia Department of Education School Nutrition Program or your area consultant.